Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I am coming back at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In this video, we're going to continue on with our What's in the Box series. And in today's What's in the Box, we're going to be taking a look at Warlord Games' U.S. Airborne Bolt Action Starter Army. Okay, so these are 28 millimeter figures for their Bolt Action game. Very good game. Warlord does a really good job on their miniatures. This is an army box, and it comes packed with a lot of things. Now, you as a consumer, you might not know exactly what you might be getting if you purchase this box. And that's what these What's in the Box series are designed to do. What we'll do is we'll take a look at what they say is in the box, then we'll open the box and look at actually what that means, because sometimes it's not clear. And then what we'll do is we'll zoom in and we'll get a really close look at the figures so that you can see if these are the figures for you. All right. On the back side, here we go. Bunch of advertisements. Ignore that. They call that more bolt action box sets. Right. Here's some army books that you might like, the rules, and then an army book to be able to use this box set. Truly. And then it just talks about slight history about U.S. Airborne. And then right here, this is what's important. It says it comes with 36 airborne infantry in plastic, and you can adjust and modify and try to figure out exactly how big you want to make your squads. You might want to maximize them, you might want to minimize them. I've noticed that and this isn't really the topic, but I want to mention it. A lot of people will minimize their squads so that they can get the maximum number of dice, so that there's a higher percentage of a chance that when you pull your order dice, you get more dice. That's why some tournaments limit the number of dice you're allowed to have, because that's pretty much gamesmanship, and that's not really, well, if you want to win so bad, okay. And then it's 36 U.S. Airborne Infantry, right, and then 4 headquarters figures in metal. And then you also get a 50 cal heavy machine gun team in metal. You get a medium mortar team, I guess that's the 81, in metal. You get a 57 millimeter anti-tank gun, of course with crew, in metal. A sheet that explains assembly, which, you know, is kind of vague actually. And then full color decal sheets so that you can put either 82nd or the 101st patches on these guys with rank insignia. Plus, of course, you get enough plastic bases to cover everyone. Okay, so this is up to you. Okay, they talk about whether you plan to field them as 101st Screaming Eagles, 82nd All-American, 17th Thunder from Heaven, or the 13th Golden Unicorns Airborne Divisions. I didn't even know there was a 13th. Okay, let's open this up, and I'll be right back. Okay, before we start opening up the box, I do want to point out, oh, this box doesn't say it. Okay. So a lot of times they'll get, specifically like the British box, it would say how many points everything was, and at the bottom it would say like it's a 1,000 point army or a 1,500 point army. This one doesn't say that. Interesting. Okay, let's pop this sucker open. There's going to be a lot in this box. Yes, sir. Okay, there's plastic sprues, metal baggies, instruction sheet. I'm going to put this away because it's in the way. There we go. Let's start with this sheet. Okay. This sheet numbers every one of these sprue parts so that you can see like M1 Garand firing right arm, M1 Garand firing left arm. So you would understand that those two would go together to make an M1 Garand firing arm, right? If you find the BAR arms, you know, and then the hand grenades, pistol and holster, and all that stuff, you would just glue them in place where you would like them. Now on the back side, this is part of the Army list, and it tells you that it's 84 points to get a veteran infantry squad. Now that squad comes with one NCO and 5 men for a total of 6. And that's all rifles. Okay, just ignore that. That's what you get, right, in a squad, 6 men. And if this thing comes with 36 men, which it does, that means you could make 6 squads of 6. Okay. But you could also do this. You could add up to 6 additional men with rifles for 14 points each. So you could just put 1 or 2 more men in there, making an 8-man squad, or you could go all the way up to 12 men. The NCO and up to 4 men can have submachine guns. So you can mix and match, you know, get more submachine guns for a higher rate of fire at short range. Now, one of your men can have a BAR instead of his rifle, so you swapped it out. Up to 2 men can have a light machine gun. So imagine this. You got a 6-man squad, right? And you give one of them a BAR and 2 of them light machine guns. So 1 light machine gun comes with a rifle as an assistant gunner. 1 light machine gun comes with a rifle as an assistant gunner, the BAR, and then the NCO. And that's all that would be in the squad, if you wanted to do that. And your assistant gunners could have submachine guns or rifles, depending on how you wanted to set it up. Plus your NCO could have a submachine gun. And then there's anti-tank grenades for 2 points per man. And then special rules. This applies to all the paratroopers. They're considered tank hunters if they have the anti-tank grenades taken, and they're stubborn. They don't give up easily. If forced to check their morale when reduced to half strength, they always test as if they have their full morale value, ignoring any pin markers. So they kind of ignore the pin. Yeah. Okay. Now you'll notice that all the paint schemes they show are the later war Market Garden or Battle of the Bulge paint schemes, because that's the M1943. In Normandy, they wore like a khaki brown uniform, so the paint scheme would be a little bit different. Okay. Got that out of the way. Okay, so Warlord loves to put their metal in separate baggies. That's good. It helps protect the miniatures. They come with a number of bases. Okay, looking at these bases right here, you're looking at what they say they get. A mortar, a 50 cal machine gun. There's supposed to be an anti-tank gun. Okay, I'm double checking my list. Yeah, the 57 anti-tank gun, a mortar, and a 50 cal. Okay, well, I'll tell you straight up, just personally, these are great for mortars and machine guns, but they're not so good for anti-tank guns. I would recommend getting a slightly larger base than this. I personally use if these bases are 60 millimeters, I tend to use 80s for my light anti-tank guns, and I might even go bigger on bigger anti-tank guns. But they give you 4 of these when technically in the box you only need 3, right? If you are able to put a 57 on one of these, you technically only need 3. And also, your anti-tank gun, you can leave the gun unmounted and individually mount the crew members and just put the crew members by the gun. You don't have to mount them all in the same base. All right, let's get this out of the way. And then you get these sprues of 25 and another 25. So that's 50 bases. Now, remember, you're only getting 36. Okay, let's do some math here. I'm bringing this out. I mean, this is what's in the box. This is why you came here. Okay. So 4 with metal. So there's 40. And then the machine gun and the mortar are all going to go on their own base. Now, because that's a heavy machine gun, usually you put 3 figures on one of these round bases and a single figure separately. So you have like 3 is normally for a medium machine gun, 2 for a light, 3 for a medium, and 4 figures for a heavy. And that 4th figure is going to go on one of these bases. So you're looking at 41, because I'm only counting 1 base there because that's its own thing. The mortar is fine. The anti-tank gun. Okay, so 40. If the anti-tank gun has 3 or 4 crew, then you can mount those as individual figures, or you could glue them to the larger base. It just depends on how you want to do it. But they give you enough of these circle bases that you'll actually, these 1-inch bases, that you're going to have way more than enough. You're going to have, I mean, even if you mounted your anti-tank gun completely on individual bases, usually I'll put 1 with the gun, but the crew can disappear off of the gun. You can move the crew away from the gun. That's why I like to individually base them. Let's say it comes with 4. We'll find out. We're going to look in the back. We'll determine it. So 41 plus 4, 45. And remember, they're giving you 50. So you got way more than enough. Yeah. Way more than enough. Now, on the Warlord bases, I love the bases that have the lips. Somebody was arguing with me and telling me that the bases with no lips are the new bases. If that's the case, how come all my new boxes have these bases? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But these seem to be the new bases to me, the one with the lips. And I like those better anyway. And, okay, I'm back to the lips. The lip, okay, because this plastic, specifically this plastic on this base is super thin. Not to the point where it's too thin. I mean, it's good thickness, but it's thin. And if you put like a heavy metal howitzer, anti-tank gun, you know, just whatever on there, you would think that these bases would bend. But because of that little extra lip, it's kind of like a reinforced, like an I-beam. You know, when you got the metal going perpendicular to the way it would bend, it actually prevents it from bending. I actually think that was like a constructive genius. But it also means that if you put any flock or glue or grit in there, it'll stay inside its little cubby. All right, so before we get to these guys, and all these sprues, if my memory serves me right, all these sprues should be exactly the same. There shouldn't be any, oh, wait, what's going on in here? This was a packed by Morella, and it comes with your 101st and 82nd decals, which we'll take a close look at in a minute. Okay, let's spin this around. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so you get 6 sprues, all exactly the same. So what we'll do is we'll only look at one of the sprues up close and personal so you can see exactly what you get. But just by glancing at the sprue, it looks like you're going to get 6 soldiers on every sprue. One of them is kneeling, one of them is prone, the other 4 are standing. And then you get a variety of different weapon systems. And remember what we said earlier about how in every 6-man squad, you can give them a BAR and a light machine gun? Okay, well that is not the truth, because there's a BAR and there is a light machine gun. So on the sprue, you only have 1 BAR and 1 light machine gun. Whoa, wait, hold on. Yep, that is correct. So you have to pick and choose if you're actually going to give them a light machine gun or a BAR. So with 2 sprues, you could give them a BAR and 2 light machine guns, but then the next squad would not have a BAR or a light machine gun. Well, no, I take it back. It would have 1 BAR but no light machine gun. So you got to pick and choose how you want to mix and match all your stuff. The 1 BAR per squad, perfect, but they only give you 1 light machine gun, so you can't have 2 light machine guns unless you deny another squad. I think you understand what I'm trying to get at. Okay, but we'll look at those guys really closely. Okay, now Morella didn't pack everything apparently, because Voss apparently packed this bag, and this bag says it's the Airborne Starter Army. Okay, so these are figures that are unique to the Airborne Starter Army, bag 1, and then these are figures unique to the Airborne Starter Army, bag 2. Packed by the Voss when he was in color, and then this one was packed by Voss when he was black and white. Okay. Okay, so let's take a quick look. We're not going to zoom in just yet. We're just doing an overview of all these figures. Here's your anti-tank gun, legs, gun shield, trunnion and junk, and wheels. Okay, so there's your anti-tank gun. Now you've got a guy on a radio. That would be really good as a spotter. You could put him out there as this. Whoa, this guy's got a radio as well. So this guy's got a radio on the ground, and this guy's got a radio on his back. What does this guy have? This guy's got an ammo can. This guy's, so he's probably for the machine gun. This guy is for the mortar. It looks like he's dropping around. These are new figures. I don't recognize these. Okay, this guy's got ammo. He's feeding it into the gun. Oh, there's more of the gun shield for the anti-tank gun. Okay, so here's the actual mortar gun. You got your base plate, the tube, and the bipod. This guy looks like an anti-tank gun crew. This guy could be anybody. Okay, we're going to hold off on him. We're supposed to be 4 commanders, right? Oh, okay. Take a look at this. We've got a medic because he is carrying a stretcher. Okay. He's got an anti-tank gun round. Yep, he's got an anti-tank gun round in his hand, so I assume he's part of the anti-tank gun crew. This guy's got his hand on his head. Not sure who he is. This guy's sitting in an awkward position with a cigarette. Interesting. Like it. Okay. This guy's a radio man. That guy's a radio man. This guy's got a walkie-talkie in his hand. I think he's an officer, actually. Here's the 50 cal and tripod. This guy's leaning forward and pointing. I think this guy, he might be the gunner for the tripod, for the machine gun. This is another officer with a map in his hand. Yeah, another officer. So the medic and the officer and probably one of these two radio men are part of that headquarters element. I'm guessing. The guy with the hand on his head is usually for the mortars. And there's a lot of extra pewter here that I'm just going to toss. But there should be a 4-figure gun crew with the anti-tank gun. I think it could be him. And this guy talking on the radio. See, oh, that's ammo. This radio. Okay, so maybe the heavy machine gun only has a crew of 3. I would have thought it would have had a crew of 4. You have to check the army list for that. But you do get a medic. You get a couple of, maybe an FO, maybe an officer, platoon leader, company commander. Not sure how you want to do that. This guy's secondary arm that you have to glue on has a radio handset in his hand. Yeah, pretty cool. We'll take a look at these guys. Do a close-up of these guys here in just a minute as well. And I guess you would just have to figure out how you wanted to do it, because there's nothing wrong with taking like this radio guy and swapping it out for one of these crew members, you know, this guy that's just sitting there. And then now the anti-tank gun's got a radio. But if your anti-tank gun only needs 3 guys, which is also possible, then maybe this radio is supposed to go with the machine gun. And then you can have this guy with one of your officers, and then you got a medic. That might be how it's supposed to go. I'll have to look. All right, guys, I'm back after I went ahead and checked on this a little bit. The 57 does have a crew of only 3, and I'll show that on the screen right here. And then the heavy machine gun is supposed to have a crew of 4, and on their site they do show 3 of them on the large round base and 1 guy separate. And then of course the mortar has a crew of 3. Okay, so yeah, so there's your 4 officers, there's the 3 crew for your guns, and you get the 36 men and enough decals. I think we'll take a look at them, but get 1 decal sheet. That gives you enough to do That gives you enough to do 39 men. And we said there was, what, 40? So 30, 36. Yeah, just this alone is 40. And then 50. So there's 50 soldiers. And the decals are 13 across by 3 deep. So there's not enough. But there is a medic cross that you can put on your medic. There are officer bars, 1s and 2s. So you got lieutenants and captains. You also, which is kind of unique, you get the regimental helmet playing card symbols like diamonds, hearts, but not enough to do everybody, but you do get a little handful of them. If you wanted to do the Normandy or Market Garden American flag for their arm, you can do that as well to help out with I guess the locals knowing who you are. But you could do a mixture of 101st and 82nd, and that would definitely cover everybody. Okay, so let's get up close and personal and take a look at all these figures and the sprue of miniatures as well. All right, guys, so I pulled the decals up close so you can take a look. You've got the 101st, and they look really good. Now, you can't see the word Airborne on the tab, but would you really be able to see that without me using this 100 times magnification camera? And then the 82nd, did I go too close? Maybe I did. You can't see the Airborne on the blue tab either, you know. And then there are there's a circle as well. I'm not sure what that's used for. But you got clubs and spades, diamonds, and hearts. And then there's the square and the circles. I'm not sure what those are used for. Probably 82nd. And then you got technical sergeants as well as staff sergeants. And yeah, corporals and privates. All right, so you get that. We're going to take a look at these metal pieces here to get them out of the way. All right, so let's start with the gun. Here we go. Tires. I'm not going to break them all off of their sprue because you never know. Inside and out. Pretty good. All right, and you can see the mold release still on there. You need to wash all that off. Okay, taking the big chunks out of it. Take the big chunks. Okay, this would be the gun shield. It has an inside and out little ammo can box there, right? Okay. Then we got the actual 57mm anti-tank gun. I'm going to change the zoom. All right, so there's the 57mm gun right there. Got quite a bit of detail on it. Okay, for being metal. And then got a little extra flash, but that's okay. That can be easily cleaned off. Back of the gun, the aiming thingamajigger, the sight, and then you got the trunnion, the base plate armor, and then you got the 2 legs. And just looking at the legs are by themselves, they're 50mm. You know, so if you put that with the barrel, you're looking at, you know, just approximately 100mm. So I don't know, that 16mm base just doesn't seem large enough. It might be okay with three crew, but I think I would put it on a larger base and then individually crew these guys with individual bases. He's got his camo netting. He's got the little medical pouch on strapped to his head. This guy looks like he's holding a shell in his hand, like he's ready to load it up. It's got to be the anti-tank gun. Canteen. Okay. Moving on to the mortar. All right, got the mortar, tube, base plate, bipod. Right. We got a guy dropping around. A little flash on his knee. Okay, whatever. That can be cut off. You can see they've got the little strap going around their leg, tying their pockets down. This guy's got his hand on his helmet. He would go really good with either the anti-tank gun or the mortar. He's just a guy. Just a dude. Now this guy, whoop, there we go. He's the one with a cigarette, whatever it is, in his mouth. Kind of sitting with his leg across his front like that. I think that's kind of interesting. He's just kind of chilling, got his hand on his rifle sling. Now he's got a little bit extra gear. I might put him with the machine gun. Yeah. All right, so I'm moving on to the machine gun. See, he's got 2 ammo cans at his knees. So he's like the 3rd loader. Because here's a guy with ammo coming out of the can going into the gun. None of these guys have like musette bags. They've got these extra magazine ammo, what do they call those? Grenade pouches or whatever they are. Okay, he's got an arm that has to be glued on. There's the handset. And his elbow right there, I guess, is where this handset goes. Radio in a pouch. That's, I guess, not a backpack. And then I think this is a gunner, either for the anti-tank gun or for the machine gun, but I think it's for the machine gun. Wow, these guys really do need to be washed with a little bit of soap and water, get all that mold release off. And then there's the simple bipod. Now this bipod has been smushed flat in the packaging. You can see how that's smushed. You just have to bend it down where this is parallel with the ground. So maybe a 30-degree angle or something like that. So that'll lift the gun up quite a bit. And then there's your 50 cal. A lot of extra sprue and stuff. Needs to be cut off. Okay. Okay, so the medic. He's got that, he's got a med pouch under arms. He's got his pistol. He's got a stretcher that he's carrying around with him. 2 canteens. Nice. That's pretty cool. Okay. One for him and one for his patient. Or to clean wounds or whatever. Okay, he's got a pistol in his hand, a radio in his hand. He's got that flashlight. John Wayne. Okay. Here's the other officer. He's got a stogie and a map, pistol, and his carbine. And this is the other radio man. He's got one hand on his rifle, and then his other hand is a handset, which will glue on at the elbow. And then his is a backpack radio. Okay, give me a second to bag these up. Be right back. All right, we are back. We're going to take a look at this sprue. I'm not sure if I've got it in the right focus, but before we get into this, I want to mention something. This uniform is the M43 jump uniform. The only real difference between the 42 and the 43 was the color. So you could technically use this uniform from D-Day all the way to the end of the war. You would just have to modify what color you use for the period. But personally, I love the look of the D-Day paratroopers, and I always paint my paratroopers with the D-Day uniform, which is kind of a brownish color. It looks almost like this color, but I still don't hesitate to use these during Market Garden or Battle of the Bulge. I mean, come on, get over it. All right, so let's take a look at these figures. Now, because of the way the sprue is, the magnification on my camera, and the way I was able to focus, I'm going to have to hold the sprue sideways. So that means you get to look at these heads from the side. Now, some of these, not all of them, but majority of them will have a camo net for their helmet covers. They will not have medical pouches. The medical pouches, I'm just going to flip this sprue over real quick since I'm talking about it. The medical pouches will be on the far side of the sprue, and you get 4 of them. Yeah, you only get 4 of them. So not everybody, because you get 6 guys, remember, not everybody's going to have a medical pouch on their head. Anything with a net, I probably would try to put a medical pouch, but guys like this with no net is the ones I personally tend to use as my officers. Not NCOs, just the full ranking officers, usually. Medics maybe, or just guys that I'm not too concerned. Like this guy might be an NCO. This guy right here with his mouth open. The guys with the mohawks, consider them to be 101st Pathfinders, you know. And then there's a soft cap guy. I would probably, to be honest, never use that guy. Mainly because you don't wear your soft cap in battle. You might wear it as in garrison or something. Okay. Can't get to these guys. There we go, without angling it. Yeah. And then the helmet, some of them are cocked or canted. Some are tilted forward or backwards. I think it's a good variety. So you're looking at 15 different heads. You know, you get your 5 there, your 5 there, and then your 5 there. You get 15 different heads for 6 figures. So you're going to have so many different varieties of heads that you can really pick and choose how you want to do it. Okay, so now this section right here, these 2 sections right there, a lot of gear. You're looking at musette bags, right? You're looking at ammo box, what do they call it? It's an ammo, I don't think it's a bag. I don't remember what they call it. It's an ammo, not an ammo contain, ammo case, ammo carrier, I think is what they might call it. And then you've got your entrenching tools, and they're either on the left side or the right side, but you only get 4 complete sets, right? You have to, with canteen, you have to kind of look up here where you got a couple of musette bags, a couple of entrenching tools with ammo carriers, and you have to use these to make these, which is good because now you can pick and remember that's a total of 6, which is your 6 guys. But like on your prone figures and your kneeling figures, you might have to move it around to kind of figure out how you want to do it. Right. And your Pathfinders might not actually be carrying this. They would definitely carry the musette bag, but if you're designing like a Pathfinder squad, I would not use the entrenching tool and ammo carrier. That's me personally, having been a Pathfinder. Okay, okay, let's take a look right up here. We got an ammo can that is open and some ammo is coming out of it. And then you got an arm which is feeding ammo. The end of that actually just attaches to the end of the ammo can to make it one long belt. They even give you a machete for some reason. I guess if you wanted to make a Pacific, like, what do they call those guys? Raiders, you probably could. Okay, and then there's your light machine gun with its bipod. What I would probably do is take 2 of the prone figures, one from this sprue and one from a different sprue, and make a machine gun base. Or I would, yeah, definitely. And then then you would be able to have your ammo being loaded into it by your second guy. You can make it like a little diorama base. Okay. Now right here you get some open hands, some pointing hands, some pistols, some binoculars. You get a couple of different legs for your prone figure. You got a cocked one and then a straight one. Having fired from the prone, they teach you to cock your non-firing let me rephrase that. They teach you to cock your firing leg, because what that does is it lifts your shoulder up over, basically it gives you a better firing angle with the weapon that's pulled into your shoulder. So like if you're sitting your rifle on a sandbag or on a rock or a branch or a log or whatever, by cocking your leg, you actually are able to lift your shoulder up to get a steadier shot. But if you are just observing like a FO, or if you're the assistant gunner, then use the straight leg. Okay. All right, now we're going to take a look at some of the weapon systems here. Got a BAR, perfect. We got M1s, we got Thompsons. This is a shooting or firing Thompson. This guy is just running with his M1, right? Another shooting Thompson. This guy he's got a little hand claw. That claw actually goes on top of the rifle back here, because what he's doing is he's pulling back the charging handle. You got a rifle slung. These are so easy to put on. Then you got another firing rifle. Nope. He's not firing, he's just carrying it. And you can use this arm as well on this rifle because he might be putting like a stripper clip into the M1. You get a carbine in 2 hands. You get a carbine slung, Thompson slung, M1s. Yeah. Okay. Just looking. Okay. And then lastly, you get the accessories. You get a couple of grenades you can put either on the belt or most likely on their LBE, like near their shoulder. You get your pistol. The Airborne loved to take their pistol holsters and use shoulder holsters, so I would put this up close to their heart. Then you have this pigeon, which is really a weird accessory, but it was for communicating back to England without a radio. And then you got a couple of bandoliers. These cross your chest or sling off your chest, just basically extra ammo. And then this would be BAR ammo magazines. And then you get a couple of combat knives. You could attach these in a variety of different locations. You can put them on their legs, between the knee and the ankle, or you could attach them to their shoulder strap again on the front. Then you're looking at your Thompson ammo pouches. These can go anywhere you want on the belt. They can go in the front, in the back, on the sides. I've seen soldiers carry their Thompson ammo pouches directly over their butt, like a butt pouch. It basically gets it out of the way from their front. And then these are the medical pouches that you put on their helmets. All right, so in this box, we saw that you do get 36 plastic infantry on those sprues. We got the 4 headquarters figures, the officer, radioman, the medic. We also got the 50 cal heavy machine gun with the 4 crew, the mortar team with the 3 crew, the anti-tank gun also with 3 crew. You got assembly instructions, you got full color decal. It says sheets, but guess what? You get 1 sheet. And plastic bases. We got enough bases to do every figure if you want to do them individually. Sometimes I would take pill bases for my machine guns, and then I would have 2 pill bases, which they did not include pill bases in this box set. But like you could put a loader and a gunner on a pill base, and then those 2 pill bases could be side by side to make a machine gun, light machine gun team. Or you could mount those 2 men on a round base like that, and you would get a light machine gun team that looks like that, where you got the loader and the light machine gun. Yeah, now I did not see any Springfields in there. No, so you're not really making any snipers. No flamethrowers, no engineering stuff, nothing like that. Just straight up infantry, mortars, machine gun, anti-tank gun. You know, it's a good, basically, what do they call it? A starter army. That's exactly what it is. Alright guys, thanks for coming out and checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one.